Alright, my people, so I'm walking out away from that park. It was called Smelt Sands Park. But it was pretty cool. The tide was coming in and the waves were crashing even harder on those rocks. I read a sign there that said that the natives used to use that beach between Waldport and here as their road. So basically, like I was saying, you can't hike the whole beach all the way down from Waldport to here. But it was pretty interesting to see that my suspicion was correct. Leaving the city of Yachats. Yachats, more like Yachats. So I stopped at the supermarket called Ray's Food Mart or something like that. And it wasn't too bad. I mean, I've been gouged worse, but Yachats is kind of an uppity town. So there's not really much here for a hiker. There's a library. I didn't check to see if there was Wi-Fi because I'm gonna push on to Florence and do that there. But I only ended up getting a few choice items that were, priced reasonably. But those items are a little heavy, so my pack's heavy again. It's about 25 miles, maybe less, from here to Florence, but it passes through nothing but woods. There's no towns and a few trails, and hopefully I'll be able to have streams. I don't know about the parks along that section, but we'll see. So this is cool. I came across this post and they got a map of all of the trails in the area of the town of Yachats. Trying to open it. But the Amanda Trail is on there, so it's part of Yachats. That's the statue we're about to see. But that's for tomorrow. Today, I'm just gonna hike on. I'm supposed to go down this way, but all it does is loop and meet back up with the road. So you can't tell, but I'm kind of just on a little scrap of land in between houses on the outskirts of Yachats. So all those windows there are kind of people's living rooms and stuff, but I mean no harm, people. I'm just here to rest. My feet feel like 2 loaves of rustic artisan bread. I don't know how else to explain it. You know, that bread with like the split on the top and it's all crusty. That's how my feet feel right now. I'm kind of on the hillside. This is not level ground at all. But I'm going to rest here until just before sunup and get up and continue on. And tomorrow we hit that Amanda Trail. I think I'm playing it up a little too much. It's not going to be all that exciting. But it's something different. I want you guys to keep in mind that I'm not new to YouTube, but I'm new to trying to put together videos that people actually want to watch. So I just got this phone that has much more capacity, and which allows me to edit my videos a lot more and bring better content in general. So I'm experimenting with the music a little more. I used to do just music in my videos because I wasn't able to get the audio quality that I wanted. So now I have that audio quality and I want to incorporate the music into it still. But so, if the levels are off, just give me a little slack, because I'm still learning and I'm doing the best I can while I'm trying to move and edit and keep my phone charged and find a place to upload all this as well. And I hope that it pays off in bringing better content to everybody and better content for me to watch for myself later. No. Focus. Alright, my peoples, I'm over here at the trailhead. There's another little thing with maps of the area trails. But this is the trailhead to the Amanda Trail. Got my pack and there's some stumps I'm sitting on. I'm just waiting on the sun to come up. It should only be about a half hour. I need to hydrate anyway. And I hear some water nearby. So hopefully I could collect some water. I hear a stream down this way. So it's a short hike, but I'm gonna wait for the sun to come up. That way I can shoot it properly. I saw a sign that says that there's a mother bear and cubs in the area. But it's not anything I'm too worried about. I mean, I'm hoping they mean black bear. I don't think grizzlies are out here or brown bears. But hey, you never know. But nothing I'm gonna quiver my boots over. Alright, so here we are at the Amanda Trail. Apparently it's under 24-hour video surveillance. And in short, this sign says that there's a tracking device in the statue, like GPS, so if it gets stolen, they'll know where it is. I don't see why anybody would want to take something like that, but anyway, it's a really short trail right off the road. I just had breakfast, and I believe there's a stream down here. The trail crosses it after the statue, and then it's actually a real mountain climb up to a lookout point, and the trail continues from there. I don't know how far the O.C.T goes through the woods here, but I'm hoping for a good long time because there's a lot of mountains that it could go through. So in this area of the coast, and even going into the coastal mountains where I just came from, going towards Salem, there are a bunch of Indian tribes that inhabited here before settlement, if you want to call it settlement. They were settled here, but then it got settled. But anyway, so those include the Umpqua, the Siletz, just had to check, also the Grand Ronde, and the Coups. And the Coups are the ones that were in this particular area or around here. So, as was the case with many Indian tribes, they had made an agreement with the government to trade their lands for a reservation. And amongst the population, some of them tried to stay on the land. Basically, the old and the infirmed, and Amanda being one of them, she was blind, were left behind. So the government hired a man by the name of Corporal Royal Bensel, and he was charged with transporting all these people down to the reservation land. What happened with Amanda is unknown, but the journal of that man, Corporal Royal Bensel, describes Amanda and how he felt bad for her because coming across the volcanic rock that we just passed by, and I took those shots of all that, the waves splashing on the rocks. So as they were going across that area, he says that her feet were torn up so bad because she couldn't see and she needed to be led through the rocks, that she was like leaving a trail of blood. You know, he describes only having traveled 10 miles that day. And it's funny because that's about all I traveled that day also. And that's, I mean, it's unacceptable, that pace in reality, you know, when you're talking about survival and trying to live, you know, a more natural life. You need to have the ability to walk further than that. You have to be able to do a 20-mile day. And obviously, I mean, it's not necessary. That's why we have community, so that we can take care of people that can't take care of themselves, like Amanda. But, you know, they had their own community, but it was broken apart by these broken deals. And I guess those people that just had to get left behind in that situation. So I like to think that she made it, and I hope that, you know, those government agents, let's call them, this Corporal Bensel guy and whoever else was helping them along, had the patience to help them get to their destination. But I'm going to collect water and I'm going to hydrate because this trail goes straight up the mountain, and it's supposed to be about a 3-mile trail, 3 or 4 miles, something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. Oh.
So here's the thing with these filters. If you have ongoing carpal tunnel syndrome, this is not the best way to do it. But I could, you could purchase the Sawyer, I forget what it's called, the Sawyer Squeeze, which drips a lot faster than this. And then you have to stop and unscrew the bottle, let some air in. But I mean, you just got to be patient about it. I mean, I'm going to be sitting here anyway, relaxing, so it's kind of like milking a cow. Well, got my water. You know what time it is. It's coffee time. So they call this place the Gathering Place. And I've seen my share of magic circles and gathering places for covens, and that's what it looks like to me. But I mean, you could gather 50-60 people here. There's enough stumps and stuff, but what do I know? But this is private property, and a lot of times private interests are into that kind of stuff. But who knows? Well, as is customary with statues like this, and I do believe these things are attached to spirit world, I'm gonna leave her some coffee. I'm sorry, it's garbage coffee. Because you're supposed to leave gifts for the spirits. And even though she didn't die here, she surely is no longer with us. And she may protect this place. Alright. So, got my coffee. It's actually not bad. I shouldn't have judged it. It'll do. But sitting here looking at the statue, and I'm thinking there's one more thing that is customary, at least in Puerto Rico. A lot of times people will take the statue of San Sebastian and they parade it, or San Sebastian, Saint Sebastian. They have statues, and if you look at my video, my very first video when I took the plane, my first video coming to Oregon, I took the plane over and I said bye to the statue that was in my grandmother's house. But it's customary also to put money on those statues, and it's not about the items that you leave. You're supposed to leave gifts. It's not so much about that. It's it's about you. It's about you giving. So it's an act of giving, and it comes back to you. And so it's kind of like a test of faith, and it's part of the whole law of attraction. I mean, I just decided last night to label my last video in regards to the law of attraction, because I came across a little bit of money, that dollar bill, and then that $10 bill that the lady kindly gave me. So right there is the $10 bill that lady gave me. So she was kind enough to give it to me, and I'm putting it And you might say, Lunchbox, don't waste that money. You're wasting money. It's not a waste. I guarantee you. You'll see. This is a test of faith. This money will come back tenfold. It always does. And it's about the act. You know, that lady, she just decided to give it to me. Something put it in her heart. Just as something's put it in my heart to give here. I don't do this I don't do this at every statue I come across, obviously, and I'm not like overwhelmed by this spiritual feeling or anything either right now. It's just, I mean, I'm overwhelmed by my whole trip so far and where it's going. And I just think it's a great thing. So I'm trying to put it out there, you reap what you sow, right? So I'm sowing that seed. It's a seed of faith, and it's a seed of thanks for where I'm at in my life. And you watch. We'll see what happens. You know, the Bible teaches us to store our treasures in heaven. I take philosophy from wherever I get it, whether it's through experience or reading, whatever. But I mean, if there's one go-to source, it's the Bible. I don't see how people don't see it. Even, there's this disconnect between, oh, I'm spiritual and all that, but you still deny the word. And I don't know, all this talk about connecting to source and all that, it's just, to me, it's God. God is God. It's the same God that you call source is the God that wrote the Bible. And it's so hard to understand because there's so many things that history tells us that, Christianity created bad things that happened. But in my mind, that has little to do with the Bible, those things that happened and the things that the church and the Roman Catholic Church and all the churches that they've done in this world. So this part of it is connecting to that source, and we have to be unafraid to call it God. It seems like people are afraid to call it what it is. It is God, and God is good. And a lot of the stories in the Bible they're hard for us to understand from our perspective now, because we look at people like King David, King David's a good example. He was apparently well favored by God, but on the other hand, he killed tens of hundreds of thousands of men and people. Who knows? You like to think that they had, rules of war and rules of engagement the way we do now, but we don't know that either. But all those atrocities that happened in the Bible, we have to realize that they happened. It's not just a fairy tale. The world likes to tell us that it was, that the words in the book have no meaning and they're just stories, but a lot of things prove and point towards, yes, that they are true. And our understanding is so limited. We don't even understand how our history has been manipulated and twisted, and we don't even know what the truth is anymore. So who are we to say that it didn't happen? Peace out, Cub Scout. Whew. It's been a while since I used those hill climbing butt muscles. I believe I'm headed up to that ridge over there, if I'm not mistaken. There's a nice lookout. Probably overlooks the ocean. Love these ferns. It's so green here. Can you believe it's January 20 something? Whew, so I should have taken off my extra layers. I still have my thermal pants and my vest on. But I should have taken them off before I started because now I'm sweating. It's alright though, I need a break. But I could actually feel the pressure change just from the couple hundred feet that I've climbed up. guess because I've been at sea level for so long. But, oh man. Yeah, it's the first climb that I've done in a while. Feels good. I like to call this when moss and twigs and stuff stick to your pants and clothes. I like to call that active camo. And you can see my stitch job. Like I said, fast and dirty. I believe that's from a hawk. I'm not sure though. But look at that bright orange vein. I don't know. Can somebody identify that for me? So I'm not going to take it with me, but I'm going to leave it up on display for whoever wants to admire it. Right on the trail. Even when a tree falls, it lives on. It sprouts new roots and grows up to take hold of life again. That's deep. These woods remind me of, like, you know, the woods in Canada. It's the same type of woods, you know, in the Pacific Northwest. But that just reminds me of that movie, The Edge. A classic movie. But if you haven't seen it, what are you doing? But here's my rendition of my favorite scene. It's a grizzly, a man-eater, with a taste of human blood on its tongue. Oh yeah, we're gonna kill the bear. How do you propose we do that? We gotta make a spear and lure it with blood. With blood! You gotta say it, Charles. You gotta believe it. Say it. I'm gonna kill the bear. I'm gonna kill the bear. Again. I'm gonna kill the bear. I'm gonna kill the bear. What one man can do, another can do. Say it. What one man can do, another can do. Again. What one man can do, another can do. That's right. Because today, we're gonna kill the motherfucker. Seems as if we're playing the old uppy downy. Eh? Uppy downy, uphill, downhill. So this one isn't too bad, but don't do this, my people. Don't cut the switchback off. I mean, how much time are you saving, really? I know it's a pain in the butt, but you know, it helps with erosion and all that. But it also leaves a trail for no reason. There's a perfectly good trail right here. But if you're out there to, you know, kill the miles and summit mountains, those are precious extra steps to your goal, I guess. But anyway, this is straight level, and it's much more impressive in real life, excuse me. But we're going down, and I thought, you know, just from my experience hiking, I felt like we were at the summit before. But there's supposed to be a nice lookout point, so I'm guessing we're either going to go back up to another ridge, or the lookout point is kind of a little lower in elevation on the side of the mountain. So we'll find out in short order. You know, another reason I'm loving it out here is because in Oregon, the winter time, I mean, it's a little chilly, but the temperature is just great. So I would compare it to a brisk fall day in like October or early November back on the East Coast. It just has that smell in the air, that fall smell. It's so great. That's something I like to see. Hikers only. That's right, you stay away. That's my shelter. Just kidding. You can come if you want. No ish. That's pretty cool. What? It's like, I've seen my fair share of hiker shelters. But this one is awesome. It's not really a sleep platform like regular hiker shelters, but I think it's just meant. To, a place to take shelter if you get caught in a bad storm. Speaking of bad storms, I think it is supposed to rain later, but it's not going to be a bad storm. Not too shabby. This is what I'm talking about. There won't be any beaches for a little while. It's all rocky, cliff face coastline. So I'm hoping that there's trails. But if not, I'll be walking the 101. There's a little placard, little information about when it was built. Shelter was built in 1934, the winter of 34-35. But this caught my eye. These people came up here wearing three-piece suits. But that's how it used to be. I mean, that's what people wore. And the suit is actually, the traditional suit made of wool with either a silk or, a light linen button down. It's actually not a bad, clothing setup as far as survival. Because if originally the jackets were made of wool, sorry, I'm about to take my pack off, bear with me. The suits were made of wool, so they were very insulating. Even if you were out in the rain, you still would stay warm. And the undershirt is quick dry, and your boxers or your whatever pantaloons. I don't know what they call them. I don't know if they call them pantaloons. But those are, it's basically like your go anywhere kind of deal. And then the tie is kind of useless, but I mean, I believe this is just a theory. The tie is an equivalent of this. So you would use it to do one of these or do one of those. And it seems like people would do that to their tie, but I think that's where it came from originally. But it's just my own personal theory. I don't know how true that is, so don't take my word for it. But it makes sense, no?